All right, now we're moving on to our Silicon Valley local news segment. You may or may not have noticed that we've swapped out our special guest for two special guests for one. I don't know what that means, but we have Malcom here from Bbuck.io.
Hey guys.
So yeah, let's Sven, why don't you take it away quickly? Let's go through some of the local news that's going on.
Kind of have one news from the past week. I come to the Starfish, which is obviously one of the most important center of the crypto activity in San Francisco. And it was an event which was completely about the crowdfunding. And that's actually attracted my attention, and I went there particularly for meeting people who are involved in crypto funding, and I found for about like 20 people there. But what actually was the most maybe entertaining part, or most something which I've never seen, is that statistics which they gave about all of this crypto economy in terms of how much money people are raising in Ethereum, how much money people are raising in Quickstarter and other applications. Plus, we have a discussion about the crypto now starting to kind of a little bit split into two camps. One part of the people, I mean like project owners, developers, they started to shift toward developing centralized applications on top of the blockchain. People started kind of saying we don't too much care about whether it's really decentralized and absolutely protected by the consensus mechanism. But because they're shifting to decentralized systems, they win the adoption side, right? Because now they can make QIC, ML, and attract more customers and make their user interface looking more good and less cumbersome. Because what happened on our side, people who are kind of, historically sit on the decentralized blockchains, all of the people on our side, we must care about our wallets, about keeping our key safes, we cannot use any silos, we cannot use any custodies, we have to always take our money from exchanges, and that's create two camps. And we're actually talking about for about 1 hour. And that's why I found it important mention here.
So was this like a debate? Did they like split the stage up into like two groups?
Well, it was first it was on stage, but it was only like an episode there.
Okay.
Because they built the solution that company built. It was presented by a company. It was a mostly centralized solution. And then it was an off-stage debate about where it leads all the community. And there were two parts. And there were like even people taking like ideological stance on that. Yeah. So we don't need this one because of the freedom, like literally. Or we need that because we don't have users. And that's actually create a split. Because people saying, why we need so much freedom if you don't have users? And other people said, why we need
These are very
users?
valid questions, probably from both sides.
If you already have freedom. So that's what I'm saying. That's why I mentioned that particular event, and I decided to kind of tell everybody else about it.
Was it mostly like the events we've seen lately where it's mostly blockchain people preaching to blockchain people, sitting in the crowd?
The choir.
Yes, unfortunately it is, because what's happening right now is mostly people meeting friends.
So what you're saying is
Bitcoin friends.
So what you're saying is at this debate between whether we need more users or more freedom, there are no new users.
It's basically
There's no new users.
It's basically debates.
Just saying. I'm not taking sides. I'm just saying.
It's basically debates from one part of users of my group, from another part of users of my group. That's where it comes to. Because all of the people, we already know each other. But I haven't been able to be involved in that debate earlier. So they're telling me there's something going on. Something going on in community, probably because of the government pressure. People already know that there are so many legislative acts hunting us or will hunt us, and that happened all in the past month.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think the existing community is realizing the problems, realizing where they need to whatever train they think, like, here are the issues that we're trying to solve.
Yes.
At the end of the day, we understand that unless more people get involved with this or finding value in it, we're all spinning our wheels. So what's the best approach to solve this problem?
Well, it is that, but also it's a personal choice. Now you have to choose sides. Or you can try to stay
this particular
group.
group.
Just be open and just
This particular group.
Whatever bubbles up is.
Yeah, we're okay. Yes. Well, now up to you guys. Yeah. Tell us about your wonderful voyage.
We had a wild week this week. So every year I go to E3.
First of all, start with this one. I cannot wait to explain our viewers what's going on with this.
Here, for the listeners, Malcolm, can you please describe what is on the table in front of you right now?
Why?
So this fine specimen of a visor is a Cyberpunk 2077 hat that is signed by Elon Musk himself at E3, which is by far the biggest highlight, I think, of the whole show. For me, personally, at least.
And that's true. And you got the proof, right?
Yeah.
You can find it in YouTube.
It's visual proof. That this happened.
Yeah, so it's really cool.
Tell the story. Tell the story from the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. So we were basically checking out some demos. I think we were at like the Cyberpunk one. I literally like got this hat. We were getting some other swag and stuff like that. We saw that Elon Musk was going to be speaking with Todd Howard over at like Bethesda Studios at this Coliseum. So we're like, hey, let's check
it was
it
like
out.
the next day.
Oh, yeah,
the next day. And so, take it back.
Anyways, it was next day. So yeah, we woke up, we went out and got everything going. And then, we headed over to the Coliseum about like an hour early. And at first we were actually stuck at like the top of the bleachers or whatever. Because like the lady wouldn't let us through. And so we're like, all right, this is, bad.
Let me interrupt again.
Yeah.
So we're back at the hotel, and we see the night before Elon speaking, and we see that Elon's coming in. And it was like, man, that's cool. Like, what questions would we ask Elon if we had a chance to ask Elon a question? And Malcolm goes, I'll ask him to sign my Cyberpunk visor. So he says this the night before we even go to the
the event. This was definitely pre-planned, like premeditated, like this was gonna happen. But I just didn't think it was actually going to happen, So anyways, when we were actually there, I was able to like come down this elevator, and we kind of finessed our way to like one of the front rows. So we were like 6 rows
because
back.
you have to go to the right line,
exactly.
to have the mic in your hand at the right time.
Exactly.
Because there are a lot of people who want to make it earlier than yours.
Yeah, exactly. And then we were sitting down there, and we listened to all the talks. So we saw him like launch games on the Tesla, which was like...
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Cuphead was on there, like super stoked about that. And then at the end, he did like a Q&A session. And so then, I have a clip. I could probably send it to you.
Yeah, sure. Right over there. You got a mic? Yeah. Hey, Elon. Wow, this is crazy. So right now I'm trying to build like a tokenized game economy for gamers. So my question is, for 2 karma points and on behalf of our simulation overlords, can you sign my Cyberpunk hat?
Sure.
We'll get it up here for him. All right.
2.5 karma points.
That's exactly good. All right. Another one right here. Mic down here. You got the glasses?
Karma does seem real.
Yeah, then that clip happened, and then, I was just like, this is crazy. And then, he signed the hat basically like backstage, and then I was like, all right, and then got it back, and now it's here on this table, and just in all its glory.
What I like about that, because I watched the video, I wasn't physically present on that. Jason was. So that guy was take that mic, and it was like a pose, like a complete silence. It was completely like 1,000 people in the hall, and they were looking at him. What that guy will ask very smart question, something super from this,
He starts out with like, "Hey, I have this business that's really, this really smart thing that everybody at the show has been talking about," and then just halfway through, just flips it like.
And everybody became berserk. Like,
they're like,
come on, I want to sign my visor. And it was obviously unexpected even from Elon Musk. He was like, what? That's it? No money, nothing, no investment.
Trying to pitch your project?
No handshake, no selfie, nothing. No only visor, of course.
But okay, the reason for that, there was actually method to the madness, believe it or not.
It was.
I wanted this visor signed because I want to auction this thing off. So I want to auction this off specifically for crypto only, especially after what happened at Consensus.
Smart guy.
Yeah, because
start your auction right now. So we can put on that.
yeah. So I mean, right now I will give this to somebody for 0.2 Bitcoin. It's not even a full Bitcoin. You can have this hat.
0.3 Bitcoin already on this one. So.
Yeah. And so
we got the auctions.
We're going to be bidding up your hat.
Yeah.
For 0.4.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, and then
Jason,
we're gonna
come on.
No, he's waiting to sneak in at the end.
We gotta let Twitter. We gotta let Twitter.
Plays
have
the
a
long
chance
game
at
with the
this.
auction.
Yeah. But yeah, and we'll go from there. And yeah, so if Vitalik, Jeremy, Vinny Lingham, any of you guys out there, you want to actually spend crypto and help stop the Zuckerbot somehow by just bring another project into existence, then yeah, this hat can be yours for some Bitcoin.
For region.
Or Ethereum.
Undetermined amount of Bitcoin.
Yeah, undetermined amount, like yet to be.
No, it's already determined. It's a little bit under $4,000 already, right? It's a 0.4 Bitcoins. Yes, more or less like 3,600 Bitcoins. Yeah, might be yours.
Yeah,
might be yours.
We'll give the internet a shot and then see what happens. But yeah, I mean, all the funds are straight up going to go towards Bbuck, right? This tokenized game economy. So it's a worthy cause. I'll even throw in stock too, actually. So yeah, just for a little
so I assume that was in like if you think about like a chess game, right? It was a first move by the pawn. Pawn is the smallest piece of the chessboard. I'm just letting you know. So you make this pawn move, E2, E4. So next time you meet Musk, you said you already signed my hat. So what about my investing in my company? That's gonna be like a night move maybe.
Baby steps. Yeah. One thing I did want to say. I really like how you worded your question. You hit it for me. It felt like a very cleverly worded promotion, like on a Reddit post, right? if you shill too hard, then everyone's just gonna troll you. Yeah. But you gave just enough. You got the signature from Elon Musk, which is like the crazy thing. Everyone is gonna be talking about this, but you intrigued a certain amount of people who heard what you were talking about with Bbuck. No, you didn't even say the name.
Yeah.
You just put just enough information for people to be like, wait, like what did the guy say before he got the signature?
Yeah.
Well, that's actually kind of interesting. Let me check this
out. No, it usually comes like that. Oh, you remember that guy who signed that stupid hack with
Exactly.
Who was that guy?
What was he talking about?
Was some gamer? Oh, okay.
Let me look this guy up.
Yes.
You did get your name is Malcolm. You get that out.
So that's good. This is like Malcolm, and then like gaming, like token, blockchain. This is enough search terms. Eventually, people will find.
Okay,
just the crumbs.
Elon,
and I got the loaf.
Malcolm, Elon. That's the search term.
Okay, so now we clear with your hat. So give us other.
Yeah, the rest of
what you bring.
Everything else, which was amazing.
So I mean, I've been going to E3 for years, and last year the blockchain stuff was all like Engine Coin. They had this huge space that they had rented out. Engine Coin was not doing that this year. We actually talked to the Engine Coin people.
They're still there.
They didn't have a booth at all, but they showed up to talk on some panels.
And you still cannot pay your tickets with Engine. You cannot, right?
Right.
I
guess. Yeah. But Justin Wu actually had a presence there, and they were doing. I can't remember what this group's called, and I'm doing a disservice. But Justin Wu was there doing a first time like. He was running panels for the whole week.
There was a blockchain section.
Yeah, there was like a blockchain summit section that he was running, and it was the first time ever for that. And so they had different panelists throughout all 3 days doing stuff. He also ran with a blockchain Diners Club group. They had a party on Monday night. They had good presentations there. Coco's was there presenting about their video game engine and how they've built out all these blockchain tools now that tie into Coco's system for mobile gaming and 2D gaming and stuff like that. And they also presented during E3. It was a really cool presentation. I think the lady's name was Catherine that gave that presentation. She did an excellent job. It might have been over the head to a lot of people that weren't like super blockchain technical, but since I was like, this is
exciting.
Freaking awesome what she's doing and what Cocos is doing here, and I definitely want to get involved and check that out more. I guess their testnet just went online last week too, so
nice.
Tools should be coming out for blockchain gaming, which is a tool set, which is cool, to see that, and not just like, hey, we're a company that wants to do this stuff, but I mean, Cocos has been around for forever doing game engines, and now they're building blockchain stuff. for their game engine,
Progression.
for the stuff that they were already doing. You know,
Adoption.
Cocos isn't a new company, so I thought that was awesome. We also got to, just met up at Nolan Bushnell, founder of Atari, and like Chuck E. Cheese on one of the panels. Got to talk to him.
Yeah, that was sick.
Like on stage, got to talk to Nolan, ask questions. That was like our first day there.
Yeah.
Gave me his contact info.
Got his contact info.
Yeah,
He reached out to him to like try to set up a meeting with Nolan Bushnell to like talk about Bbuck. Awesome.
Yeah.
Second day, we played a bunch of games, and we got invited to the craziest after party ever. We got invited to the Miller Lite controllers, so they have put like Bluetooth controllers on Miller Lite cans, and it was a Street Fighter after party. Here, you explain this.
Yeah, literally. Like, so one of my friends from like Activision, we got this invite to that party. Yeah, it was called Miller Lite Can Trollers. Can Trollers, super clever. I was like, well, by default, we have to go. Yeah. So they're literally controls on a beer can, and you can open it and drink the beer afterwards, too. And it comes in like a 4-pack, and it was unreal. And Eric Andres was there, like the comedian who's like just super out of control. And yeah, dude, there were some babes there. Free hot dogs, there was candy, free everything. And you just played Street Fighter on these controllers, and if you won... Yeah, and if you won, like you got one of the high scores, you got to play Eric Andre on stage in Street Fighter, and if you win, you got a pack of those controllers, can controllers.
But Eric Andre is solid at
filthy.
Street Fighter. And
Really?
that's
what he is.
I've read stories of him like in college, like
Demolishing
owning people for pay for some beer money.
Yeah.
He's definitely a good Street Fighter player. So
That's hilarious.
He was next level, because even on these controls, right, like one of the things they're missing is like an R and L trigger, so like the heavies were all messed up. So he goes in the options and like changes everything. Yeah, like all right punches, So it was, but yeah, it was awesome, man. So that was a sick after party.
that was the second day, and we got to play. Oh gosh, we got to play Borderlands. Got to check out
all the new stuff.
Blockchain.
What was your favorite new upcoming game that you guys?
Borderlands 2 will be out this year. I went through that one. Or 3, sorry. Borderlands 3. You're right. It is 3. It'll be out later this year, and I went through that one twice because I wanted to play it more. So I like that one a lot. Malcolm, what did?
Yeah, Cyberpunk 2077, man. The gameplay looked amazing. Like being able to like hack into things, then also like choose between like just strength kind of mechanics was just a really cool dynamic they had going there.
Action RPG, man.
Yeah, man.
That's like the future.
Yeah, I was super excited about that.
And they made an announcement, Monday, Keanu Reeves being in the game, and so that was a big.
What is it, March 2020 when it comes out?
Guys, explain now for the people who playing chess and golf. So where are we going with that? So first of all,
the biggest topic from the blockchain community was how we have all these assets in games and nobody's own, and they need arms. So you make a microtransaction and you get like something in game, but you don't actually own that when the game, goes away.
You lose it, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the company's code, and how gamers, if we're going into this future where VR and virtual worlds and everything kind of meshes together, there has to be senses of ownership in these digital spaces.
Real ownership.
Real ownership.
The whole point of the engine is exactly to assure that you have these.
What you earn,
Wax token. The Wax token guys were there too. They're doing same type of thing, and shoes and everything else that they're working with. So that was a big piece of it, and the other part was like, how do we pay people in these that are in virtual worlds? There has to, if it's a virtual world, there has to be virtual economies with some sort of value added into these that people can take into the real world and use, whether it's the assets or just getting something, and which is awesome. They're posing all these questions, and then Malcolm's here with, hey, I already have that system out that already tokenizes kids for winning games of Fortnite.
Can I jump on this panel?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it came down to.
I cannot help myself but to introduce some difficult issues here in our discussion, which is why still with such a tremendous excitement about everything, we don't have one popular blockchain games. Moreover, last week we all heard that more than 80% of all the Tron games or EOS games and Tron games, it's bots. So what's going on?
Let me reply before they jump into it.
Yeah.
Popular blockchain game versus existing popular game that has valuable blockchain stuff added to it.
Yes. Something like
That's all I'm gonna say.
That was one
That's
of
what I'm-
the highest points at the blockchain dinner. Was, I mean, they had people they had CryptoKitty guy there, straight blockchain game, but the people that are picking up, there was a couple other projects, but the one person in particular, I can't remember his name, but his company does regular like games, and he's adding blockchain in, and it wasn't Coco's, but he's getting licensing from like Star Trek and like regular game publishing that he just happens to be adding in. Hey, you know what? If you're in my game and you play it, we're going to allow you to have the ownership of the things in it. Like those little things. Yeah. And it's optional. You don't even need it. So what's going to happen is kids are going to be like, oh, I want to keep that. And once they say they want to keep that, then they're automatically onboarded onto the blockchain to be able to do that. And they might not even realize that it's a blockchain-based thing. It's just that, oh, I have this thing that tracks all the things that I own in the game so I can trade with my friends.
Okay, that's I understand. You mentioned CryptoKitties. Thank you very much. We've heard about that game. But what I need something like Star Citizen.
Okay.
But in blockchain, I need something which everybody knows about, everybody crazy about, and everybody expect. Because what we up to the moment, we have only like, okay, let's take that game which already exists and put on top some coins, or underneath it, or from the left side, on the right side. So give me some perspective, give me a reason to live with that world, like, living in this world.
Leave the world?
No, I mean, like, I'm sorry. I mean the thing, like, give me the reason to join that community, right? Because I'm obviously crypto enthusiast, and I'm waiting for some game who blew my mind.
So we have to turn this guy into a gamer. That's the problem.
I don't think that's going to happen with this conversation.
Right, because you guys talking about onboarding process.
This is a very different onboarding process.
Yes. Yeah, 99% of the people, they're like me. I'm just like, oh, what?
No,
a Shadow Warrior, like
an
Assassin's Creed. What are you talking about? I don't know.
So not about those.
War of
Games
Gods.
already huge, right? I mean, there's over 2 billion gamers, like, in mobile games.
But not in crypto, okay?
And the reason is because, I'm going to be honest, crypto games suck ass.
Yes.
They're not cool.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but they're just not good.
So now you're leaving. You're just leaving right now.
No, I'm saying that, like, you look at Gods Unchained and you look at like all these other attempts at making crypto games, and I'm not saying I'm glad they're doing something.
It's a start.
It's a start, exactly. But it's just that. Versus, as Chris was saying, having existing games that already have massive user bases, massive like game mechanics, huge marketing budgets, like. It's not even comparable. I don't see a world where people are just going on a blockchain and like playing blockchain games.
Why not? I think
the onboarding is going to be through going to where people already are and getting them on there, as opposed to starting.
Maybe that's a mistake you all people doing, because actually, if you create something new, you have to create that thing new. Saying, for example, there's whole.
They've done it already, though.
Here's the thing. Here is the whole area of economic games. Like, I don't know, SimCity, right? Just created for blockchain. It's just made for blockchain. You own the property, right? You build the property. Why nobody yet come with some ideas which make it originally blockchain game? I understand. CryptoKitties, only one example. It's an original blockchain game, because without blockchain it doesn't make sense. So what's stopping developers from going further? That's what I cannot understand. Why is it? Because, and I think that one of the reasons is that now everybody, like, taking the low-hanging fruits, which is taking the existing concept, put on top of it coins. That's it.
Yeah, I would say, that's what a lot of people are doing, and a lot of people are doing that and failing.
It won't fail, because it won't work. Because guys, you are responsible for me starting watching these reviews of the games. So now I understand what's going on there, at least a little. And I know that many reviewers giving the negative reviews about the games with coins, because they don't want to be involved with any economy. They just want to play the game. They paid like a $39 my hard-earned dollars, and now you're giving them this.
I would say one game to look out for, Svet, that I think you would enjoy, because it's an interesting game. You should check out EVE Online at some point. And you check out EVE Online.
Okay, you write it down.
It is a gateway. It's part simulator, part space thing, but you spend a lot of time like mining ore and doing these things in game, and building things that you get to then ships and
There's a huge economy based on your investment time.
Yes, yeah, and you get a return on your investment time. And EVE Online, I think for a lot of people that are doing real blockchain games, I think there's a central point of oh gosh, what's the inspiration there from that particular game. And
so you're saying that the seeds are there, right? But there is no trees, so there are no fruits. There's seeds. So let me. They're only like a greed. We should do it.
And I also don't think that like Ready Player One world can exist until we have an economy that's in game. And blockchain is the first time we're able to actually get that idea through. We can actually have it because blockchain will be there to be able to do the economy.
But do we need to change human psychology before we do that? Or what do you think?
The games have to be adapted to fit our existing psychology, how we do things. So let me pose this question to all you guys. Jason, what's your favorite game right now?
Sekiro.
Okay, and what's
I don't even have any clue what that is.
Well, what's your general favorite part about it? Like, why do you choose
I do it because it's extremely difficult and it's a personal challenge.
Do you like the challenge? Yeah. But it's based on the gameplay.
Yeah.
Right? Malcolm, what about you?
I'd say the biggest game I play the most so far is Smash Ultimate.
Okay, yeah.
It used to be Halo, but Smash Ultimate.
Smash Ultimate.
What it is.
To me, I love PvP games. I've always loved them. Like, it's the biggest replayability for me. I like story games, don't get me wrong, and collecting stuff, but then I stopped playing.
That competitive aspect, right?
Yeah, I love it, because you can never be perfect, and like, you just keep, you know?
And it's just like, it's like a sport, right? Like, you play a sport against another individual, you know you're both humans, and you're thinking in certain ways. If you beat them, you get that rush.
And I can even answer your question myself. If I would choose from the game, I wouldn't play it, because it took too long time, but if I choose, I would take the God of War.
Oh, God of War, that new God of War.
And what?
Because it's a story. It's a story. It's a story. You get
very
there.
well done story.
You like being involved and engaged in that
because it's just kind of that step between like cinematography, between movies, between your participation, something which opens you new.
It's a different type of experience.
Well, yes, it's something which you never experienced before. Because when I was like, I played a lot of games, but no time now. Yeah. But you can exchange your time with something extremely new and valuable, and that's basically for me.
Yeah. So that's actually all. Those are all very solid points. So my favorite game right now is Rocket League, which is kind of similar to yours. I love the competitive aspect of playing against another person and beating them to a pulp, and being able to assert that I am better than them. Like that's just what it is. That's the value I get out of it. Now, out of all of those games, where do any of the current existing blockchain games, where do they deliver on any of those better than any other?
Very good question.
Right?
It's a great question, and I think that's I'm there with you. I'm there with you because I think that it's not about trying to like compete with those games and all those things on the blockchain because you're already at disadvantages with like just processing capabilities, like the scalability. Yes. You just can't do it.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to do another plug or whatever, but like really like that's why we decided to just go towards existing games that people already love and just give them kind of like a complementary economy towards it.
It's an additional amount of value that could not be utilized otherwise.
Yeah.
I think that's where adding blockchain technology to like existing games, that's where the value is, not in trying to like miss out on all the parts of games that we love and instead try to have the blockchain aspect be the selling point.
Because it's not.
You're not going to you might get some crypto enthusiasts who like say, oh, I can make money on this just like you can make money in investing.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
But you're not going to get gamers to say, these graphics suck. Where's the story in CryptoKitty?
No, I agree 1,001%. I think it's like, well, okay, so I think it's about standardizing like an intangible value system while also decentralizing its creation. So like anyone can participate in that, but they all share a common theme. Because gaming is just too personalized, man. Everyone's got their own taste.
It's actually a very good question. Thank you. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, does anybody really care the software that's running behind the game?
Yeah.
No. And
they just want to know what they can
do with it. So why are they trying to make the software the point? You know, like.
No, but the question is that because it's a new type of technology. We all saying it's a new type of technology, and in a sense it is, right? What value this new type of technology add to our experiences, or the experiences we want to experience? That's, I think, the question. And by the way, we forgetting about one important game which we all play. most of us playing. Speculation. That's a game, guys. That's already taken.
Okay,
This sphere is already taken by all these crypto exchanges, which is a game.
That is a good point. But
and there's a point too. Like I was telling Malcolm on while we were at E3 was poker by itself is a really boring game. Nobody would play it. Once you add the level of speculating and betting, then it becomes a very complex and fun game to play. You know.
So depending on the semantics, we could say that blockchain gaming is already huge because people are
already gaming.
It
was one of the points at the dinner. Was one of the questions from the stage was what was the first blockchain game, and the first person raised their hand and said Satoshi Dice, and I was like, yeah, Satoshi Dice. And the presenter from the stage, his opinion was like, that's true, I guess, but that's not what I'm looking for. Anybody else? And like Bitcoin. And he's like, bingo, because it adds the level of speculation, which is a game to itself. That
I think there is another dimension here, because if you play, say, in cardboard games, I don't know, don't have any example. Monopoly, yes, or whatever. So we have properties, which is on our cards, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the potential application of that one to keep that property when you leave the gaming area. Maybe there, but that's again just like a additional feature, not the decisive technology which can.
Yeah, but it's like what I'm looking at is value added by having the blockchain technology.
Yeah.
Say you're playing Monopoly, you can't. It would have to be a digital version, but you're playing the digital version.
At the point.
Yeah. So I think what's happening with this space is like a lot of companies will come out, at least they used to when they did these ICOs, and they would have a token, but that's abstracted away from their actual product or service, and then try and convince people that they need the token to use your product or service. Yeah. But just like Jason was saying with poker, right? Like I think the real thing here is like you want to own the chip. The chip's used in the game and not worry about the cards and all that stuff. Let other people decide if they want to play Texas Hold'em, if they want to play blackjack, if they want to play whatever. But if you have the chips, so the point I'm getting at is like blockchain by itself can help with like a lot of like supply chain, all that stuff. But if you're gonna have a crypto asset, that is the product. Like that is what you're selling people. It's the speculative nature and the possibilities that opens up.
One thing which has just come to my mind is just like a wild idea. Maybe again, I'm thinking about CryptoKitty as an ideal example of blockchain game because without blockchain it wouldn't happen, never. But another maybe application of blockchain gaming, it makes the game, I'm sorry to say that, eternal. You can play the same game generations. You can pass your positions on this imaginary board from the sons to the fathers to the sons.
There's a problem though, because if the game's popularity falls off, as does the assets you've earned in there do.
Okay, here's an example.
So you're locked in.
Don't forget. There is games which are now exist more than 5,000 years. Go, chess, and there are a lot of others.
Are you using that same board though from 5,000 years ago? Like, what are you doing in Go? Sorry, finish your point.
Okay, so I already made my point. My point is that I'm right now we're trying to find this type of application or like perfect conjunctions between gaming and blockchain, which make them unique, like CryptoKitties and speculation.
But it's true that for the first time ever, we can have a game that goes on for eternity.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes. And I will add to that point.
As long as electricity's going in.
So I can play Eternal Go on the Eternal board, because now Go is, it should explain, Go is a kind of 19 by 19. But say I make it like a light year to light year, which is pretty much like infinity for us, right? And play my game for all the generation. I don't know the purpose actually, but what the purpose of the war? The purpose of the game is a game, right? So maybe we start this game, but my family is your family. And right now and finish it, I don't know, when the sun goes
There's
dark.
definitely lots of things that could be done. No, I don't think anybody's ever attempted a game quite like that. But
why would you?
It's the first time ever that we have these types of opportunities of things that can carry on multi-generational and keep going, especially, and that's why it would work in something that's like a simulator of some kind or a virtual reality world that can somehow continue to.
So let me I don't want to forget my point.
Okay.
So with CryptoKitties, other people have taken the contracts, the actual contracts of the data that's been stored about people's CryptoKitties, and created other games based on that same data.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So that is a valuable thing that blockchain technology enables, is when you're talking about an eternal game, you could have an eternally evolving game that takes your progress no matter what was happening in that version of it and continuously utilize it. Mm-hmm. That is something that is unique and has not been done yet, and it's something that would have to be explored, but is a potential extreme value add for using blockchain tech.
And answering your question, why you can choose to play this eternal game? Because you want to be remembered. People building these genealogical trees, you know that? By trying to remember who was their father and father of their father. With this game, your name will stay in thousands of generations because you made that move, and that move defined everything else, and everybody can just roll back to that move and say, Malcom made that move 1,000 years ago because that move's matter. But if you just was the father of somebody, people will forget you. That's a human nature, unfortunately, because people tend to forget complicated things, but they remember very simple thing. And you was the first who made it, who put that stone in this imaginary go board. I'm sorry, I mean,
don't get me wrong. I'm all for ambitious projects and having ridiculous. Don't get me wrong. But I think having something truly be eternal and not having an end goal defeats the journey in itself. I get it. You learn the most, and the beauty of it is the journey. But at the end of the day, you need to have your eyes set on okay, this is what I'm aiming for, and whether you make it or not is there. But at least it's kind of possible.
Depends on your philosophy.
I don't know, but at the same time, we did spend time in a VR dance simulator that I would be fine with going on for forever. Because there was people dancing, just having a giant party in the VR with 3D. It was give you this full immersion that you're just they can change the locations and everything else. Wasn't much of a game, just have fun,
And
if I need to hang out, is that really a game? I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe not.
It was cool.
Yeah. I don't know. I would.
I think we start to generate the ideas for the project already. Just give them for free. That's watch our channel. It's just we're just sharing.
Yeah, so someone should use our podcast as the stem of their ideas, and just make sure to credit us. Whatever it is. I think we should let's wrap this segment up. Do you guys have any final what's your overall takeaway of E3 in general, and then the blockchain component of it?
Again, it wasn't mostly blockchain people preaching to blockchain people, even at a big event. And I would say mostly yes. The people that were the most interested in blockchain.
So it's a systemic
already knew about blockchain. I'm sure maybe we picked up a couple other people that might have been, nearby, just wanted to hear what was going on. Justin Wu does an incredible job on all his events, and this was, no exception. The guy hustles constantly. The other part is that it's just like last year. I was there and I saw there was several more blockchain things going on last year, and they weren't there this year with blockchain and gaming. And so the whole event was kind of eye-opening, just how early we really are in this particular space, and we're very, very, very early because we have Nolan Bushnell talking about how he's getting into blockchain gaming, right? And how we want to tokenize, gamers and get them paid in this new economy that's upcoming, this new digital economy, and only less than 100 people from the whole event show up. Everybody else is standing in line to see Cyberpunk come out and
get some free dang and
get some free stuff instead of having hey, this is groundbreaking. This is going to change how everything is going to happen. They're still busy.
The masses haven't seen the value yet.
Exactly.
Yeah, they don't want to hear about it. They want to see it.
I feel myself a little bit like when you first, I don't know, do you surf? But many people here surfing. And I remember one of the first time when I was able to catch the wave. And it was a fantastic feeling, but I wanted to share that feeling with everybody. But when you
convince other people to.
No, it's just feeling. So when you are up in the sea, right? You're sitting on your board and you're watching your back because you're facing this big wave and you don't want to miss it. And then there's a thousands, literally hundreds of people who started to trying to get that wave at the same time you are. But by only few managed to do that. And then you roll this wave, and at the end on the beach, you're alone. And that's what happened to us guys in the crypto. So everybody started trying to get that wave, but when wave is gone, nobody interested. Why you need any surfing, right?
Still out in the deep water.
So they are somewhere else, and we are sitting on the beach and saying, and we pitching to each other.
That's a great analogy.
That's what it is. There is no water around us. We're like a puddle, but it's like a sand now. And we are
for example, this whole thing what Justin was doing was trying to get the word out to everybody. I mean,
but there's
to
no
go out into the ocean.
Yeah. There is no wave. That's our problem. I think our problem that wave is gone, and now we either wait for another wave, or we kind of invent the
build a pier.
We build it.
Build a pier.
Right, or pretend we have this wave. I don't know.
Or create a new wave ourselves.
Well, I don't know how we can do that.
Throw a big enough whale out into the ocean and create a wave.
Ocean is big. Ocean is big. Yes.
We could take this analogy so many different ways.
Yeah.
But
yeah, well, I mean, we'll see what happens. I think what we're starting to see now with Project Libra, so like Facebook's coin, all that stuff coming out, they're going to start their own wave now. It's going to really be big tech versus the banks in a battle that's like has yet to be seen. But I'm pretty angry about it still.
I don't know about Facebook starting a wave, but you starting a wave. New wave of discussion here.
yeah.
Sure.
We'll save that for next for the next segment for sure.
But yeah, outside of that, E3 was great. Nolan Bushnell was awesome. Thank you, Elon Musk, for this. This is sick.
You should tweet it back for sure.
Yeah, $4,000 and it's yours.
Yeah, definitely.
Buy it back with the Bitcoin.
Yeah, let me know. Like, I'll be on Twitter. And like I said, I'll sell this only for crypto. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, we've already done our outro. Malcolm, anything else you wanted to give outro-wise? Like,
sign up for Bbuck.io. You know, start earning Bbuck for your Fortnite wins. And then, yeah, that's, I think it. Yeah. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but
website.
Yeah, you forget to give them the address of your wallet, such that people
Accepting donations.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that concludes this segment, and I'm going to have to do some editing anyways, so this concludes our gaming segment, Gaming in Silicon Valley local news segment of State of the Industry.
Thank you for being with us. So watch our channel, join my group, ask about crypto.
Drop your comments, tweet us. Let's get involved.
Yeah, and throw coins on us. Whatever coins, yes. We will take care of it. Thank you.